Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I'm looking at the Advanced Themer framework. That's a new feature for Advanced Themer. And I'm also looking at Bricksmaven. Bricksmaven is a collection of templates for bricks. Now, a cool thing about Bricksmaven is that they've supported with their templates various CSS frameworks. They support automatic CSS. They support the core framework. They have vanilla CSS. And now they've just added support for the Advanced Themer framework. There are several template collections that mention that they're going to support the Advanced Themer framework. As far as I know, the Bricksmaven collection is the first to do so. What I want to do in this video is show you how to quickly get going with the Advanced Themer framework, and I want to see if I can create a demo site relatively quickly by using these pre-designed templates from Bricksmaven. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I have a test website here, and I've got some demo posts. If we go look at the themes, you'll see I have bricks and I have bricks child theme. The child theme is what gives us this default layout, and it does it for the single post also. But you notice that there aren't any headers or things like that. What I've also done is I created 3 pages, but they're blank. And so let's also create then a menu. And let's add those 3 pages because we'll want to use that. And then in the brick settings, I went through and applied the settings as I normally do. I added one extra thing though, and that is under templates. I put in the information for the Bricksmaven template kits, so that I can access it inside of Bricks. Okay, so that's already set up there. When you access the templates, they give you that information so you can browse the templates inside of the editor. I also have Advanced Themer installed, but I haven't adjusted any of the settings. I'm generally going to go with the defaults on most of these things, but there's 1 or 2 things here that I want to turn on. Let's turn on the theme variables. And I think CSS classes, there's a thing there. All right, so I'm just going to go with the defaults then on the rest of this. So there are 2 ways to get into the Bricks editor. You can edit a page or you can create a template. Let's start by creating the header for the site. And we'll select that it's going to be a header, publish that, and then edit with bricks. Advanced Themer has a menu inside of Bricks now where you can access many of the features. So let's go there, and you'll notice that a new addition is this AT framework. This is like a simplified framework, a little bit simpler than the core framework and much simpler than automatic CSS. If you need all the bells and whistles, go with ACSS. Has many features. But let's go and click here. These are the options that you can turn on for the framework. If you happen to have a setting either in Bricks or in Advanced Themer that you have turned off that's required, there'll be a notice here. It'll tell you that so that you can go and fix it and turn it on. Now these are the categories of variables. If you've used some of the other CSS frameworks, you're familiar with those, like spacing or typography, things like that. Okay, I'm just going to turn them all on. Then there's global colors. I probably would only use 1 color set, 1 palette, but there are options for contextual colors, and then you can actually have more than one palette set up. And if you need to, for some reason, have a different color palette, then you could actually enable more than one and then switch to it inside the editor. And there's some other features that make using multiple palettes easy. Then these are classes, things for like forms or unordered lists. I'm toggle those all on. Then these are the settings for the theme style inside of Bricks. And we can have Advanced Themer go ahead and populate those theme styles for us. Save a lot of time. It's going to apply the variables and classes then into the theme style. So I'm going to turn that on. Then this is a global style sheet. So I'll turn that on. And then these are some recipes. You've probably seen the people sharing things on Facebook or, as a gist or things of ways to create things with CSS or get special effects or things like that. There are a few recipes for that, but I'll probably add some more. I'll turn that on. Okay, and then save. All right, and close that. Here's where you go and you would access the theme styles. You see there's a yellow dot there now, and the AT framework is already selected, and it's already applied some variables and classes, some defaults to the elements in Bricks. Very easy to set up the framework here. Now, this is the class manager in Bricks. You can see the global classes, the different categories there. And this is the Advanced Themer Variables Manager. So you can look at the variables that Advanced Themer has set up. So, for example, one thing you might want to check is if you want the max width of your content to be 1366 or 1290 or whatever it is that you prefer, you can set that there. I'm just going to go out and we'll set that in Bricks also. Okay, so I don't forget. Back to the Variables Manager. If you've worked with fluid spacing and typography, you're familiar with these kinds of scales. This is built in then to Advanced Themer, and you can have your fluid typography scales. You can set those here and change them. Set the minimum font size on mobile and on maximum font size on desktop. You can change the scale there. There's typography. There's something similar for spacing here. Right, you've seen this kind of thing. Well, this is nice that it's built right into Bricks. So there are button styles. There are global variables for setting up grid columns. Lots of nice features here, kind of things that you're probably used to using, but it's really nicely integrated with the Bricks builder. And then another kind of part of the Advanced Themer framework are the colors. I just chose one of the color palettes here. The default is this kind of light blue and light yellow, which, doesn't really do a lot for me. Some people might like that. But I'm going to change the colors to a different color blue. Okay, and then instead of that yellow, I'm going to go with a green. The Advanced Themer Color Manager will generate your shades and everything for you. So here are the different shades for the primary color and for the secondary color. Okay. And then the neutral, black and white. I think these might have some shades, maybe not as many. If you had enabled more than one of those color palettes, then in this drop down you would see it here and you could turn it on here if you needed it. So that's the color manager. And then one more thing is we have this Advanced CSS icon here. This is part of Advanced Themer. Here there's defined a page style sheet you can use, a global style sheet, and a child style sheet for your child theme, if you have a child theme set up. This is the AT framework. Remember the bottom items in the list of features for the framework. One of them was for a globals style sheet. So that's here. It says here basically that these are just a few things that are loaded, just some constants, and you'll see that very few items here. Okay, and then if you want to override the framework itself, you can put overrides in here. CSS that you put in here will be kept between updates to Advanced Themer or Bricks, so you won't lose those. You can add those in here. And then finally, these are those recipes that you can turn on and use them or not as you want. They're often more advanced things, like if you want to do something special with the button styling, use multiple color sets, different things like that. Okay, those are here. Now we're pretty much ready to rock and roll with Advanced Themer. Very easy to set up here. So as you recall, I got into the editor by creating a template, saying we want to create a template for the site header. So let's go to the template settings. Let's set the condition for the entire website. We'll save. All right, now let's bring in the templates and pages in our site, quickly creating a demo site using now the Bricksmaven templates. This is the Bricksmaven website. If you want to see what their templates look like, you can go here and browse through them. Here are the different ones. Right, so lots of categories here, and you can choose the ones you need. They have the set using the automatic CSS, using the core framework, using Advanced Themer, and then using, kind of vanilla. So it's kind of nice that they give you the option for the one to match what you're using. Now let's go back to the site here. We've got the header. Let's see if we can pull in a header from Bricksmaven. You see, because we added that template library into the Bricks settings, it's picked it up there. Let's find header. And these are the different ones that it has. You see, there's some that have a sidebar. But let's just take something simple, like maybe this one. And I'm just going to hit insert. Doesn't look all that exciting right there, but there is our first template brought in. And let's swap this out. I uploaded a logo. All right, and then let's go here and go to border. And I'm just gonna do 4 pixels at the top, 2 pixels at the bottom, a solid border, and we'll choose our blue color. Now I'm going to call the header done. We'll save that. Let's go out now to the home page, or to the front. Okay, let's continue then. We'll go back into Bricks. Let's go ahead and create the footer. And like we did before, let's find one here from Bricksmaven. I like something simple, so I'm going to bring this one in and then delete some of the extra things that I don't need. Okay, and then when you see this lock, that's a warning that if you continue, you're going to style at the ID level, but there's a class here. So we'll select that, and then let's go for the background and choose blue. So let's remove that and add instead maybe space small. Okay, and then we've got on the section here some extra space. Okay, and then let's go to the content here, and on the copyright it says alpha. Let's take that out. We'll put in the site title. Now here's a cool thing about Advanced Themer is it has this dynamic data modal. Normally with Bricks you have kind of long lists you have to scroll through, but here it shows us categorized all the different dynamic data, dynamic tags. You know, if there's ACF or metabox, that shows. Okay, so we want to go site title. So that's a feature I really like, one of my favorite features. So let's save, our footer's done. Let's go now and let's go to our pages. So we have a page called home. Before we create that, basically we want to replace this one. But before we do that, let's go to the settings, reading, and let's set that as the home page. So now that should show up as a home page. Let's edit it with bricks. Let's do the same thing again now. We will, this time though, look for blog archive. Okay, let's see which one looks good. Let's try this one. Okay, I'm going to save that. I don't want the search because we have a search bar up there. And I want a read more that is a button that has the blue color. So let's add a button. Okay, and we'll say read more. Okay, and our link will be dynamic data. And this time it'll be the post URL. And then here, this is the pagination. You know, I really do like this feature of Advanced Themer where it shows the element, the HTML element that's being used. That's something you can turn on here. Okay, very nice. So let's go to the layout, give it some space at the top. Okay, and then we need to select our query and be card, I think. Okay, then I want this to be blue also. So current background, I think it's that one. Okay, we'll save. Let's go and check this out. Good. There's maybe a little extra space on the top there. Okay, let's have that be, let's say, will be medium or large. All right, so there's our home page. Okay, now let's do the contact page. So here's contact, edit with bricks. And let's see what Bricksmaven has in the way of contact forms. This one looks good. Okay, I like that as the brand color on the button there. Let's go and check that out. And now for the About Us page. So there isn't an about there. How about a team? Let's see. Team, okay. And let's take this one. All right, and I uploaded some photos we can use. All right. So we'll save. There's our page. Okay, I think there's one more thing we need to do. Let's go out to the home page. So if we actually go to one of these pages, this is the default Bricks child theme layout for a single post. So let's replace this with a Bricksmaven template. So add a new template. And this will be for single. So let's see, we'll go here and we'll go to template settings, condition. It's for a post type. Post type is posts. And let's see if we can find a, oh, here I need to do single post page. Here we go. Okay, that'll be our preview. And now let's go and look for a single. Blog single, okay. And this one looks interesting. All right, we have our social shares there. And that all looks good. We'll save it. And again, let's go to the front. All right, so we've quickly created a demo site, test site with some demo pages using the AT framework and the templates and sections from Bricksmaven. I've been really pleased with the Advanced Themer framework. It's extremely simple to set up and use. It's integrated deeply with Bricks, and it utilizes a lot of the features that Advanced Themer offers. So I think that the Advanced Themer framework will appeal to a lot of people who want something simple. Some of the people who are maybe using the core framework might like the Advanced Themer framework, especially if you're not using the core framework for Gutenberg or other builders. Of course, if you're using it in several different contexts, then it has that advantage that, you know, it's cross-builder. People who are using automatic CSS, you know, are probably people who want to have a lot of control and access to all of the bells and whistles. So the Advanced Themer framework might be a little too simple for them. Also, like the core framework, ACSS also, of course, supports several different builders. I didn't have any issues with Bricksmaven. It was easy to browse the templates from inside of the Bricks builder. There seemed to be a wide variety of categories and the templates are available for use with different CSS frameworks. All right, that's my look at the Advanced Themer framework and quickly populating some pages with demo data using Bricksmaven. I hope you liked this video and found it useful. If you did, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.